walking down the avenue where we used to play. The house on the corner is still the same today as it was when we were children, innocent as innocent can be. I borrowed all your records, you borrowed mine from me. We sat and talked for hours in a box hung in a tree, and we stole your daddy's last bottle of gin. Those were the times, those were the ways. So take me back, so take me back to the good old days. Looking back from here, I can see that we were blind to the burdens we would shoulder and the struggles we would find. But growing made us strong as strong can be. Those were the times, those were the ways. So take me back, so take me back to the good old days. Ice cream until our heads hurt. We were trading candy bars and sticks of bubble gum, trying not to laugh in church. Do you remember? Like I remember. And oh, those were the times. Ooh, those were the ways. Oh, so take me back, take me back.
You're watching Escape Adulthood Live. Now, with sound, your number one source for long-lasting, fast-acting, physician-approved adultitis relief.
On this week's show, we're talking about making ice cream, making people happy, and catchy love songs about the apocalypse.
Greetings and salutations, everyone.
Thank you for shenanigating with us and for hanging in there with that little technical snafu. Adultitis is very upset.
Yeah, you're going to want to tune in because apparently Adultitis does not want you to hear tonight's message.
So that makes us excited. Yeah. I mean, honestly, we like a good fight, right?
Yeah.
You know, not against each other, but, you know.
Whatever you need.
There are so many good ice cream flavors.
We've got some. We've been asking about ice cream flavors. Mike says Rocky Road.
Classic.
Julie says at the moment it's strawberry cheesecake. It changed frequently. I can understand that.
Right.
Wait, Mike also says Cherry Garcia. How many favorite ice cream flavors do you have, Mike?
Oh, I thought the other Mike was Mike Salinas, or no?
No, Mike Schroeder.
Oh, okay. Well, you know.
Mike Salinas, he's here also here somewhere.
Okay.
But what other ones? Cookies and cream.
Ooh,
Cookies and cream. That's a good one.
Favorite. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All good stuff. So, yeah, there's a bunch of other ones from before.
Yeah, so many great names here. We see Jill and Julie and Wendy and Helen and Mary Beth and Shia.
It's like
oh my
romper
gosh.
room.
I know. Thank you for being here. And if you're not eating ice cream, you might want to. But actually, we've been talking more about eating nachos.
Yes, we get to eat some nachos tonight. We talked about that last week, that Kara Tracy and her husband have made it a routine to watch this show while eating nachos for dinner. And we're like, that sounds like the greatest idea I've ever heard in my life.
On Wednesday nights?
We did nachos.
And then at the end of the dinner, we discussed all the different types of nachos we're going to make every Wednesday night. So this is going to be a new family tradition. Thank you, Tracy's, for doing that for us, inspiring us. And there's nacho right here.
Meanwhile, I have to say that Rowie was one of her ideas for nachos was to put slices of ham. She said that's her favorite meat. So, the traditional nachos with your nice chunk of sliced ham on there.
I don't know. Maybe there's like an Italian nacho thing going.
Yeah.
No comment. I don't know.
But speaking of nacho, yeah, Kim, you shared last week a little find.
We did a little upcycling fun at Goodwill with the kids. Gave them $5 each, and everybody walked out with something that we were gonna transform. And I walked home with these they were gold, 2 of these little birds last week that I showed. And I've been busy. Actually, I was painting this afternoon, so this could get kind of messy. But I believe, based on some feedback I received after last week's show, that this might be a partridge. Do you remember the partridge family?
And the pear tree.
I know, right? So I've been busy, as you can kind of tell, getting some really, fabulous colors on this guy. Still working on the head. Not quite sure what I'm going to do there. I might actually do something different, because I'm just tinkering. But it was fun. I spray painted him gray and his buddy too, but he hasn't gotten any colors yet. So I don't know. It's turning out.
It's looking good. Looking good. But the makerspace was on all cylinders today. The kids were going crazy. Yeah. Kim was painting. Ginny made a guitar,
with a pick that she lost, but and then Ben made an amplifier for her guitar, out of an egg carton,
and it was
with a cord, and it was like a shoelace cord. And
unbelievable. We'll have to show that next week.
Lucy's learning to draw horses from YouTube. So all while listening to Ed Sheeran. So it was a pretty awesome afternoon.
It's a pretty good afternoon. Yeah,
it was.
Well, the other big thing that's been going on in our household, as we shared last week, we went to a strawberry picking patch. Strawberry picking patch.
Say that.
We picked strawberries at the patch.
Yeah.
And we did something with those strawberries this week, besides gorge ourselves with them. But here's a little something, little show and tell for you. That was always fun.
Yeah.
We do that at least once a year. We bring out the old ice cream maker, make homemade ice cream. And although we've made strawberry the last several years because of the strawberry patch. But I have a cool Ben & Jerry's cookbook that I use that is pretty rad. Yeah. So it
was delicious.
It's very good.
Whenever you guys make homemade ice cream, I always wonder why we don't do it more often. It really isn't that hard. As you can see, it's just a few ingredients and super, super refreshing.
We need to get a little bit more creative in it. But I wanted to throw out something, and I'm curious about you folks watching tonight. we have a controversy. We've always been a little bit of a divide in our family when it comes to desserts. And, Kim would rather have chocolate cake. I'd rather have cherry pie.
If you watch the anniversary episode in May, that was
literally everything in desserts we're the opposite on. And so one of the things is that I much prefer vanilla. She is chocolate.
Yes.
And so I want to know from you, where do you stand? Now, you had a lot of flavors that you threw in there that you were favorite, but if you had to choose between chocolate and vanilla, I've got to believe that a majority of you will say vanilla because you're smart and have good taste.
Now, Ro, our youngest, is always going to side with Jason on the vanilla. She'll always choose vanilla before chocolate, but Ben and Lucy are with me, so I win in our family. But how does it fare here?
We already got a Team Kim. We got a chocolate. Come on. Do better.
Chocolate.
Do better.
No, chocolate.
Vanilla. Yes. I see vanilla. There we go. Here comes the vanilla. It's good. No, but it's interesting because I actually read once that vanilla is the most popular ice cream flavor.
I heard that as well.
And I wonder if that's more like you buy it at the grocery store because it's good for like apple pie. Yeah. Like it's good for cake and other things.
Sales might be higher for vanilla because you use it in a lot of other things.
I wonder. But I'm seeing a lot of different options here. We got vanilla.
Are you gonna just? Are you gonna just put up the vanilla?
Rachel, thank you. I knew I liked you.
Oh, Rachel.
Wendy, Team Kim.
Oh man.
Jody says Tom votes Kim. Jill says vanilla all the way.
Wow. Where's my chocolate lovers here? Come on.
Lisa says you can always add the topping to vanilla. So I like that, Lisa Marie. You're right. You're right about that, and that's part of the reason.
Most toppings can be added to chocolate as well.
Yeah, not the same. Not the same. Sue is a convert. Used to be chocolate, but now switched to more vanilla.
I do like vanilla bean. I'll say that. That's if I'm going to do vanilla, it's going to be the vanilla bean.
Kristen. Okay, we got it. Oh, here's Sharon. She's going down the middle here.
Swirl. There we go. And by the way, Sharon, I did read your comment when we were watching the ice cream video about the Hawaiian nachos. Brilliant. Pineapple and Hawaii. And the ham. So we will definitely have to check that out.
We've got a pretty... I think it's pretty even from just what I can tell.
I think Steven likes a flavor called buffering, so that sounds yummy.
I've not heard of that, but no. But we will be talking about some cool things tonight. We basically, I don't know, like we're inspired by talking about the end of the world because normally we talk about very positive and uplifting things, and we thought, why don't we just bring things down? And talk about
kind of feels like that
destruction and the end of the world.
A good choice right now to have the end of the world.
I think you're going to want to stick around for our twist on that and what you should probably do before the end of the world because it's really important. Mm-hmm. But in the meantime, please share this with your peeps. There's we depend on you guys to spread the word about this message. Clearly, Adultitis wants nothing to do with this show tonight. We must have ticked it off big time. So please share it, get the word out. We love that. Thank you for all of these comments we're getting about vanilla or chocolate.
Ben brings up a good question. Why is chocolate out of stock more often? I mean, it does beg that question, Ben. I agree.
It doesn't beg any questions for me, but hey, to each his or her own. All right, so let's move on here.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
Yes, so a couple weeks ago, we shared about our new virtual experience that we're sharing with clients. And I have to say, I'm pretty excited. We have 6 booked for August. And we're going to have a busy August.
It's going to be a busy August.
But here's what's happening, okay? We've got all these different fall gatherings that would normally happen. We got school districts, we've got, different conferences, and fall just ramps up everything. But people are like, I'm not really thinking our group of 150 even. I mean, groups of 500, of course, but 150, I don't know if we want to get them in the same room together. So our virtual experience is kind of connecting. And I think the thing that I'm hearing from the meeting planners is that everybody's just so burnt out but they want them to feel united. And they're so like Zoom. By the way, Zoom is now like the Kleenex of.
It's like Google, Kleenex.
Like, so even if you're not using Zoom, it's like, all right, Zoom burnout is so real. And yet they want everybody to feel some sort of, unity at the beginning of the fall. And so having industry content is like, bleh. So our stuff is like, right? It's like, no, nobody needs that. You need something fun, entertaining, different, exciting. So if you know a group this fall that is meeting, please share this link. I think a meeting online, I should say. I think there's a lot of opportunity to kind of keep everybody's morale high.
Yeah, and I think you said, fun, exciting, all that, and it is. But I think what's interesting too is the message is really resonating for right now, because our main talk that people are looking for and the topic people want to address is change. Like, how do we deal with all this change? How do we deal with all this upside down world? And so talking about seeing with new eyes and being able to give people some new tools and new ways to look at things to adapt to the change more productively and more positively is really what we're all about. So being able to do this kind of talk show sort of format makes it a little bit more interesting. And the message really is perfect for right now. So
so spread the word. I know there's a lot of you that work with kids. I have a feeling that change is not going away. So we're all going to need some resiliency, and that's hopefully, we can be there for you guys. So
that would be a good thing.
Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
Well, it is official. The end of the world is upon us. Does seem like that a little bit. Here's the thing is like 2020 has not been for the faint of heart. Am I right? I mean, it's been a disaster. It's been a hot mess. It's a dumpster fire, right? But the thing is, every generation fears it's living in its last days. Everyone, right? I didn't live through the 60s, but I heard that was pretty tumultuous. I was born at the tail end of the Cold War, and that was pretty intense. And I am old enough to remember the events of 9/11. Things were pretty bleak back in those days as well. Now, if we're talking about the end of the world, I have to share a little fun fact about this painting, because this cheerful painting was inspired by a song about the end of the world. The words are actually from the lyric of a catchy tune from the 80s. Some of you may recognize I'll Melt With You. It's by a band called Modern English. And lead singer Robbie Gray, who co-wrote the song with his 4 bandmates, basically exclaimed, I don't know if people realize that this song was about a couple making love as the bomb dropped. As they made love, they became one and melted together. Alrighty then, right? Another fun fact, though, about this. Bet you didn't know that about that song. Well, here's the thing. This painting was also the first painting that I ever did live in front of an audience at the first ever Madison Night Market. It was also the first time that I offered my art for sale to people who hadn't just heard me speak. Up until then, I'd only sold my art at speaking engagements after I had just spent an hour sharing the art on a big screen and telling the stories behind it, and I had a captive audience. Here at the night market, my art would be standing on its own, no explanation, no context. And as I painted away, I had this was perfect for an introvert because I could put my easel there and I could paint and I could be focused on that, and I didn't have to do all the awkward like, hello, how are you? Did you, it was just so much easier to strike up conversation. But one of the cool things, I didn't even realize this would be the case, is as I was painting, I could sort of eavesdrop on people. And I could hear them as they were responding to my painting and to the prints and the greeting cards that we had for sale. And what I heard was magic. People were smiling, they were laughing, they were pulling their friends in to show them, take a look at different pieces. Quite simply, my art made people happy. And that made me feel awesome. I concluded right then and there, if that was the only thing I was ever able to accomplish with my art, it was a worthy calling and it would be enough. Now, it might not seem like a big deal, but it is kind of a big deal because you see, in the art world, that's not enough. An artist is supposed to be serious, supposed to make a political statement or disturb people or make them question everything they hold true. That's just not me. I've never been that way. I'm not that guy. And so I don't always fit into that box. But you know what? Here's the way I look at things. I think our world is dark enough. There's enough things weighing in on us. I think we need more beauty and more happiness. Not because we don't know that there's bad things going on in the world, but because those bad things weigh so heavily upon us. And so putting good into the world, making someone happy, bringing a small measure of joy to a fellow human being, to me that's pretty good too. Which brings me back to the song about apocalyptic hanky-panky. While we wait to see if the world does end on our watch, let's do something productive with our time. It seems like we can find better options to do than rioting in the streets and cowering in fear in front of our TV screens and ranting on social media. Instead, what is one thing you can do today to make someone's day just a teeny tiny bit brighter? How can you use one of your gifts to make someone happy? Might not seem like much, but it's enough. And these days, it's sort of like an enormous act of rebellion. So regardless of when the world ends, think about this. No matter when the world actually does end, we all have a last day coming. Now, I can't say for certain that I will spend it in the fashion described in the aforementioned 80s song.
Yeah, baby, yeah!
But if I can make someone happy on my last day, and on as many of them between now and then as possible, I'm good with that. How about you?
Well, I'm curious how many people know the origins of that song, because I saw a lot of people when you started talking about it say, I love that song, I love that song. Even Ben won some bet in a karaoke contest, like singing that song. It's kind of a interesting little background to that.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny because I'm sure you remember that night, and we were both pretty nervous about just putting the art out into the night market, and you're like, what night?
What night are we referring to?
The night I finally shared my art with the world, and just little things like that. But it's true. Like, I remember I got an art degree, I went to art school, and I always felt like a second-class citizen because I was an illustration major, so that didn't give me any credit versus like a fine art major, and I always just felt like second-class citizen for the teachers and whatnot. And but yet, like, that night was like a really kind of a big deal because it helped me to see, like, wow, this is really powerful. And I think that's why I wanted to share this, is because now we need that more than ever. Yeah. And so I'm going to keep putting out art. That's my way of doing it. But what I want to challenge everyone is, like, what's your thing? What's your thing that brings joy and happiness to people? It might just be making nachos or making chocolate chip cookies. And, like, everyone has a skill or a talent, and it doesn't have to be like some big fancy thing. It's just something you like to do, something you're good at. And that's one of the things we talk about too, is like a lot of times we undervalue the things we're good at because it comes easy to us. And we think that if it becomes easy to us, then everyone else must be able to do it as well. And so we don't think it's that big of a deal. But that's not true. That's not true at all. So the things that come easy to you that you enjoy doing are probably pretty valuable gifts and are worth sharing.
Well, I've been meeting this person that works on the landscaping of this property nearby on my morning walks. And I don't know if I've told you this story, but every time I see that I'm going to be walking upon this guy, he's in his 60s, he's a volunteer, he's usually, pulling weeds, that sort of thing. I'm like, my day is going to be better because I'm going to see this guy, because his attitude isn't just good. It is amazing. Like, I'll be like, oh, it's a nice day today. And he'll say, every day is a nice day. Aren't we blessed? And he just exudes joy and light. And, you know, I tend to be a smiler. I'm very generous with smiles to strangers. This guy takes it up like 1,000 times. So it's just one of those things of like, that's all he does. All he does is spread happiness just by being himself. And it's huge.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's a really good point, that it doesn't have to be necessarily a talent, but just an attitude and a smile and being interested in someone else and asking them a question and listening. Like, so many things like that.
Looks like we got some cool ones up here. This, Julie's saying she likes to bake. It's kind of neat to see like what, Jim says, I weed the neighbor's garden every morning. I don't particularly like it or I'm good at it, but it makes them happy.
That's awesome.
Will you move next door to us,
right.
Jim? For so many reasons.
Julie bakes. Yeah. That's cool.
Jim's officially the best
I love
neighbor
to share
ever.
Smiles. Jill bake cookies and bring to neighbors.
Right?
Instant credibility right there. Instant favorite
joy,
person.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think it's time to draw. Let's do this.
Let's do it. Before we start, if you like this portion of the show, if you would just push share and write a little blurb about come draw with me or something, because I think this is a part of the show that really stands apart to other people's, productions out there. And I think we've been talking about, it's like Bob Ross meets Willy Wonka over here. And I think, it's fun to see what you guys come up with your drawings. So if you would push share, that would be awesome.
Okay. Meanwhile, if you've got your pencils, markers, crayons ready, let's do this. I don't think I'm going to tell you what I'm going to have you draw tonight, although if you watch the show, you probably have a pretty good hint. But what we're going to do first is we're going to start with 4 lines slightly askew. All right. So it's going to look like this. And they're going to be the same length. And you want to kind of spread them out about evenly distanced apart. Something like that. They don't have to be perfectly straight. It's actually better if they're not. Okay. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 4 additional lines in between the other lines, but they'll be shorter. Okay. So it's going to look like this. So you just kind of divide the space with a shorter line. And I'm still going to do 4. So I'm going to put this one at the very top. Okay. Now I'm going to draw a straight line at the very bottom across like that. And then I'm just going to kind of create a little long rounded rectangle there. Okay. And then we'll draw 2 edges down like this. And then I'm going to draw another line to connect them, but I'm going to make it slightly curved. And this little slight curve is what is going to give it a 3-dimensional effect. Now I'm going to do the next same thing with 2 sides, straight lines on the sides. I'm going to do the same curve at the bottom, give it a little bit of a rounded feel. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create little lines down here. Again, keeping with this sort of rounded line, giving that 3-dimensional feel, and then a couple lines up and down to make this sort of checkerboard pattern. Okay. All right, now's the fun part. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect these 4 little lines that we drew with little round curves. So watch, I'm going to start up here and I'm going to curve it down like that. And I'm going to curve it around the big line. And I'm going to do the same thing over here and the same thing here. And then I'm just going to bring this one down here. And I'm going to just do the same thing on this side, closing off these edges. And I'm going to bring that all the way down. And then, this is the fun part, is to make this little wave at the top. It's kind of like a little S curve. And then tuck it down and bring it down. And there's your little DQ swirl there. Right? Okay. And then we gotta have a little face on this guy.
Classic smile.
Now, what's kind of cool about this is we'll do like a cone color here. We'll do that. And I'm going to color this in. All right.
He's so cute.
Got any comments, Kim, or people busy drawing?
Well,
maybe?
when I think a lot of drawing is happening, but there were a lot of folks talking about how they like to share this part of the show. So that's pretty awesome. So thank you, Christy and Barb, and Helen shared it right away. So thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
And we always have this on replay too, in fact, in segments. So there's a whole little section of our YouTube channel that is just Let's Draw. And you can just watch all the drawing ones if you get in the mood or get the right markers or materials that you want to play with.
Make little cheeks. Now, what's cool about this soft serve dude here is because it looks like we really do have quite a, let me make it a little bit lighter. Quite a representation of chocolate versus vanilla, as you can make it swirl.
Ooh.
And so if you just color in every other one.
That's cool.
Like this.
Nice. That is so cute.
So ice cream.
Right?
And this was kind of fun today because I was like,
how am I going to simplify this?
yeah, I'm like, how can I make this to be something that you could actually draw and explain? And I think it turned out pretty good.
Barb says, I love that magical moment when the picture just jumps out at you. Like for this ice cream cone, it was the moment of connecting the lines on each of the sides of the swirl. Simply magical. Yeah, totally, Barb. I agree.
All right. And then, of course, what I love, my favorite part is when you guys send in your drawings, is the little extra pieces and adjustments you make. Because, of course, this is art. This is the Bob Ross part. This is your little cone. And
happy little cone.
It's however you want to make it. And so if you want to put little, sprinkles on here. This reminds me of when we were little kids. We would
I know what you're gonna say.
We had a station wagon. And we'd go for rides to get ice cream. And I would get what I called twinkle coat.
Twinkle coat.
I don't know if that's really what it's called. That's what I called it. But it was basically sprinkles and peanuts mixed in on top of the cone. And oh man, I loved it. But the funny thing is we would eat it and all the pieces would fall down. And so then the whole back of the station wagon would be filled with peanuts and sprinkles. And I may have eaten them days later.
Yeah,
like you're a little kid.
I'm not going to judge.
Pick it out. So.
Right.
So there you go. There's your little cone. Now let's add a little extra flourish. Now this will depend on what kind of media you're using, but if you take a color that's a little bit lighter than the cone and put a little line under it like that in the bottom left, and then you do the same thing, it kind of looks like an indentation.
Oh, that's cool.
So that's kind of the highlight catching on the rim, so it makes it look again three-dimensional. And I might add a little highlight here with the.
I love those sprinkles. That's it's so funny. You primarily put the sprinkles on the brown parts. I mean, a little bit on the vanilla too, but it's just funny that obviously it makes it pop more.
Yeah, it just depends on the colors that I was using. So
right.
So there you go. There is a happy soft serve cone.
Happy little cone.
It's not meat like last week, but we got dessert this week. So
very cool. And speaking of the studio, we have some cool things to share.
Got a little sneak peek for you.
Well, I do have a question.
Are you guys having a killer time?
You guys having a killer time? I mean, we just got back from Idaho, right? And it did not get lost on us, the fact that being in Idaho reminded us of one of our favorite movies, which is Napoleon Dynamite.
Yes, we watched that recently again.
With the kids.
And
so good.
I watched it and I'm like, how did this movie get made? How did anyone be like, how will anyone like this? But it's unique.
Different. It's different. Different is cool.
Yeah. So I was inspired to create a new series of pop culture people. It's a little side series that I do where I take the old classic Fisher-Price Little People and I create pop culture versions of characters. And so these are literally still wet. I'm still working on them. But this here is Deb. So we've got Deb here with her little side ponytail and fanny pack. So her face is done, but the rest of it is not yet.
I wish you could put a little caboodle.
Yeah. So put that down there, right? And then this was fun. We got Pedro.
Vote for Pedro.
Pedro offers you his protection. And I had to do some Google searching to get the appropriate wig shape of that he was wearing. It's so hot.
Oh, it was
because
so
he
hot.
shaved off his head, shaved off his hair and all that. So we got
poor Pedro.
Got Pedro. And then we've got, of course, Napoleon. And Napoleon's got the he's going to have the Vote for Pedro shirt.
Nice.
Not there yet, but it was tricky to do his mouth because his mouth is so distinct, right? That just kind of like open mouth kind of thing. And I think I nailed it pretty good. Yeah, that's
pretty good.
Again, trying to keep the language and the look of the Little People style. You know, I didn't want it to be too realistic. So those guys are working, and I used the colors of the lockers in their school. So that might be a recognizable color scheme.
Some good comments coming in here.
That's what I'm talking about.
Well, yeah, where is the brother Kip? I mean, come on. Kip is like Kip, one of my favorite characters.
Need to have Kip maybe too. I debated whether I should have Kip.
Heck yes, I did.
And Uncle Rico would be a good one too. Tina, maybe I should have Tina.
The llama.
Tina, eat!
I know.
So, still working on these, but I wanted to share where I am right now. And
yes.
Yeah, it's
pretty fun. I think that's going to be a good series. And I know a lot of people who were signed up for the Escape Adulthood Summits have been getting some neat things in the mail, that people who kept their tickets for last year. So speaking of little people, I see a lot of people tagging us on Facebook.
Yeah, it's kind of neat to see them get in the hands of people and share things. So.
It was neat to see how those turned out.
Yeah, they turned out pretty cool.
Yeah. Yes.
Right, you guys.
Thank you for sending in your drawings. I mean, meat. It was around the 4th of July. What were we thinking?
Who knew meat could be so cute, right? Suzanne sent us her meat there. It was a little pretty awesome. Tracy Miller sent in some. I love how she put the little brat and underneath it says, not a pickle. Because it does, when you don't have the color in there, a brat and a pickle do look very similar, right?
Which,
but I like her little steak. And then Ben submitted. He's got a whole.
I know.
You know what this reminds me of is the drive-in movie. How the intermission time and all the food's dancing. Let's go to the
movies or whatever. Yeah, I love it.
So I love this. He's got the condiments in there with the salt, the ketchup and mustard. Super cool.
Took it all up a notch.
Thank you for that. And then Kristen just sent us a picture of her grilling meat.
Hey.
It was just kind of. I think it was like
it was relatable.
Reminder. It was her 4th of July celebration, so it's like, hey, here's.
And being in Wisconsin, of course, she's got sausage on the grill. I mean, what do you expect?
Now,
right?
I have to say, speaking of meat, okay, there's just all this information around with the coronavirus and
what's this have to do with meat?
Because everyone is just like. Fighting about everything and disagreeing about everything, it just can't stand it. And one of the bones of contention for many people on both sides is masks, right? It's like, should we be wearing masks? Should we not be wearing masks? Like, blah, 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 blah. Like, at this point, like, I don't even care. Like, just what? Just let's just talk about something else. But I realized that the reason we could end this right away, we could end the mask debate immediately.
It's true.
If we just went in a different direction.
The bacon mask.
Right? If these, you got to make your masks out of bacon. And suddenly, poof, no controversy.
I love bacon. Like, love bacon. And this grosses me out. I'm sorry. The thought of that grease on my face, I think I also just can't imagine, like, it resting there. So, I don't know.
I showed this to Ben, and he's like, oh, this is so great, because then if you're hungry, you can just take a little bite.
As if it'd be a little bite.
So then I have visions of like people wearing a mask and there's a hole right in the middle where the mouth is, right? It's like a bacon Dementor from Harry Potter. Just so
well, we
I
were
don't know.
also told by several caterers over the years with our events that even vegetarians eat bacon. So
yeah, the people slide a little bit. So that's why I think it's the answer to all of our problems.
You know, I'm open to it.
Whichever candidate wants to put this on their platform, landslide. That's all I'm saying, right?
That's what I'm talking about.
All right. So one of the things that we love talking about, many of you have done, but we never, it's always good to share this as a great idea, is to go on a pajama run. And this is actually perfect for our social distancing times that we are living in, because basically the concept is you surprise someone by taking them out for ice cream in their pajamas. And we often like to encourage parents to surprise their children after they put them in bed, to wake them up, maybe go so far as getting like pots and pans and wooden spoons and making a big ruckus and say, pajama run, pajama run, pajama run. Everyone goes out, including you in your pajamas, to the local ice cream place. And you go, and the drive-thru is perfect.
Yeah.
So again, perfect for the summer, perfect for our current times that we're living in, right? But someone we know has taken it to a whole new extreme. And her name is Shelly, and she was a Adultitis Fighter of the Month, I believe, last year. Mm-hmm. And part of the reason that she was awarded this prestigious award is because of what she did with pajama runs. And she heard me speak probably 10 years ago now.
Yeah, a long time ago.
And she heard about the story and was inspired to do it. And so their first pajama run they held at Wendy's, I believe. Mm-hmm. And it was scheduled for the day before the last day of school.
Which is a cool idea.
So it's kind of like everyone's in a celebratory mood. Mm-hmm. And you can see, this is the picture from way back then, June 3rd, back in 2010.
I know.
2010.
Oh, life was
and
simpler
they had
in
this little crowd of people. But what's cool about it is that every year they've done it again. And their numbers have grown and they've gotten, it's just.
And now they actually kind of go after hours at Wendy's.
Yeah, they have to call ahead because then they want them to know, like, you see some of these.
They need a lot of extra help.
They need extra help. And but like what's cool is like more and more people come, the dads come, especially in the early days. The kids didn't know that their friends were going to be there at the same time. They kind of were able to keep it a little bit of a secret. And so they've been kind of keeping this tradition all through the years. Now, this was last year, and now you would think like, 2020, COVID, the streak is broken. We can't do that. They can't all go to Wendy's and do this. No. Real Adultitis Fighter finds a way. And so she sent an invite out to her peeps and said, we're going to host one in our backyard. If you feel comfortable coming, we would love to have you join us for another pajama run. And this was their picture from this year. And she said it didn't get... Actually, she sent in a couple notes I wanted to share. She said they didn't hold it at Wendy's, obviously, but they had it in the backyard. But she said, out of gratitude for all of the years that they have supported us, we still ordered food from Wendy's. Our household called in a sampler order of hamburgers, cheeseburgers, chicken nuggets, fries, and Frosties. Aww. So this was like next level pajama run, right?
Right, like whatever.
We had food set up on the tables on our patio, lawn chairs spread throughout the yard. She said they had 35 people attend. And she said the highlight of the evening was when it was noted that our very first pajama run had been held on June 3rd, 2010. Almost exactly 10 years prior to the one we held this year. Of the families who attended that first year, 3 of them were at this year's event. It's been so awesome to watch the children get older, but still look forward to this event. My son, who has been living in Madison, even made it a point to come home that night so he could attend. I can't tell you how grateful I am that we took the leap and held this event after the first time I heard Jason speak about it. Thank you for planting that seed with our group and for supporting us as it grows and adapts over the years.
Wow. Thank you for sharing all those
super
pictures,
cool, Shelly.
Oh my
and
gosh.
That's one of the things. I mean, that's what we do. We spread seeds. And the greatest joy, I think, of our work is to see where they bloom and to see people like you take things and run with them and create memories and add elements to it. And I love that. It's incredibly humbling and grateful for that, for sure.
Well, there's a lot of people in the comments sharing that some of their favorite things to do is pajama runs, including Jody, whose husband Tom, that's one of his favorite ways to escape adulthood right now. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, this is not for folks that have young children at home only at all. Oh my goodness, no, right?
Yeah, let's see. Lynn says, last time we made a pajama run, the ice cream parlor had scooched all the chairs out to open up a dance floor, and the local swing dance group was doing an informal performance and lesson. I love that.
I love the spontaneity of like, we were going to go have some fun, and then all this more fun kind of happened, you know?
Helen says, I saw Dad take his daughters out to breakfast, and everyone was wearing pajamas. So cool. I love that.
That's
very cool.
So much cool opportunity there. So
yeah. So it's about time for giveaway, right? Is that the time we're at right now?
It is. Last week's winner, and I was able to connect with him today, was Ben Cheseldine. How do you say it? How do you think?
One of those. I think it's one of those.
Yes. And so we'll be sending out your BFF, Best Friends Forever print from last week with all the tiny little art on it.
Yes, this week we have this lovely melt. It says, you might not have been able to read this anywhere because the print is tiny, but it actually says, I'll stop the world and melt with you.
And you know what I remembered when you were telling that story is that today is Adultitis Fighters, Tara and Roger Ingalls' 20th anniversary, and this was their wedding song.
Was it really?
Yep.
That's awesome.
Like, that is so cool.
Oh,
so happy anniversary, you guys.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So we've got this print to give away. And how are we going to do this, Kim? We've got a question, don't we?
Yes, we do. Here's the question. What is your favorite one-hit wonder? Now, this one gets us laughing because we definitely had to ask.
Here's what I want to have happen. I want to hear you say your favorite one-hit wonder, and then I want someone to compile a Spotify playlist with all of the one-hit wonders from Adultitis Fighters. So what is yours, Kim?
Mine is probably in the 90s, early 90s, Skilo. I wish. So
I wish I was a little bit taller.
I wish I was a baller. I wish I had a girl with a hair. I wish I had a rabbit in a hat with a bat.
6'4" Impala.
Right. So I used to know all those words. I had it on tape as a single. You know how you have like 2 songs on a single? Just pop that in the radio in the car. Yep. It's awesome.
We got Baby Got Back.
Julie. Awesome, right?
Even a thing called Love the Darkness. I have to say a thing about Baby Got Back. So my brother reminded me when we went on road trips as a family. I have 3. We have 3 boys, 2 younger brothers, and my parents would always make us listen to oldies, which we hated. It was always like, So finally, one road trip, we convinced them that for us to make a mixtape. Some of you may remember what mixtapes are. Okay, it's sort of like a playlist, but lame. And we got to make a playlist on this mixtape, and we got to pick out all the songs. It went good until song number 2 was Baby Got Back. I like big butts and I cannot lie. And that tape came out of there so quickly. I'm like, looking back now, I'm like, what were we thinking? Like, what? We flew too close to the sun. That's what it was.
And you got burned.
We got burned. And we were never allowed to choose music again. So, that was a sad day.
There. That's a classic one.
Which one? Oh, yeah. I'm Too Sexy. Right Said Fred. Somebody That I Used to Know. That's so good.
That is so good. I got to listen to that one.
Patrick Swayze. She's Like the Wind. 97.
She's Like the Wind. Oh, these are all going to be in my head.
Don't Worry, Be Happy.
Ooh, classic.
Put this up a little bit so people can see a little bit here. Come On, Eileen.
Oh, the good one.
Like that's how you know it's good is when you know exactly, Hooked on a Feeling.
Nice.
Joe. Oh,
that's a good one. Yeah.
What else? Music into Gold, done by the guy who wrote Daydream Believer for the Monkees. Interesting. By the way,
Don't look
Daydream
into that
Believer is one of my favorite songs. Not a one-hit wonder, but
Yeah,
still
it's
one of my
classic.
favorites.
Mhm. Did you say yours?
Oh, mine. Depends on the day, but probably Ice Ice Baby. Vanilla
There's a couple
Ice.
Ice babies early.
That is one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah, that's a
So
good one.
keep your one-hit wonders coming. And I'd love to see. We got another. Oh, let's see. Did I get it? Okay, yeah, we did. Come on, Eileen. Steven has Awesome Mix from Guardians of the Galaxy. Safety Dance, Men Without Hats.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Turning Japanese.
Japanese.
Hammer Time.
Oh, yeah.
Great.
Oh, these are good ones.
So yeah, good stuff. Keep them coming. We will pick one of these people to win this lovely print shortly after the show. It's one of the benefits of watching live. But of course, we love everyone who is checking out the replay, sharing it afterwards, sending in your awesome drawings, all that kind of good stuff. Yeah, so next step is
Yes.
August 8th.
August 8th. And if anyone's been following the Escape Adulthood page, you have been seeing my countdown. So I'm doing a little photo challenge. I actually missed one of the days, but I'm trying to do a daily countdown.
Terrible. You're fired. You're fired.
Of 24 days until August 8th, 2020. And many of you that have the Celebrate Everything calendar kind of have seen what's on there. So there's a little bit of a hint, but that doesn't tell the whole story, does it?
No, it doesn't.
No, we have been creating something, and this is going to be probably what we'll call our biggest Corona blessing. But we're so excited to reveal it a little bit at a time as these 24 days dwindle and get closer to that August 8th, which I think we're going to be having a live show that day. It's a Saturday.
Yeah, we're
figuring it out.
We're going to be planning some kind of neat things in the next couple weeks as we prepare for this. But yeah.
Yeah, basically it comes down to 3 words. If you are seeking more adventure, more meaning, more joy, you're going to want to stay tuned because your time is coming.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things that if you feel like your childlike spirit is not always welcome in your group of friends or at work or maybe even in your own home, we are saving a place for you. You are going to be in a place like this is your people, and this is it's going to be cool. And I'm like, I don't know how many more times I can say this is going to be cool. We're still, I mean, we're just busy. Like part of the reason we can't share all of it is because we're still pulling details together. We're arranging things and buying things and designing things, and it's going to be an experience. I will tell you that it's an ongoing experience that you're gonna love. If you like this show, you're gonna love this. And as we've said in the past, the best way to make sure you know when it launches, because it's actually going to be for a limited time. So you kind of got to have a short window, which is why we're trying to let people know about this. So be sure that you are an Adultitis Fighter Insider. Get on our mailing list. You can do that at escapeadulthood.com/insider. I know many of you already are, so just keep your eyes peeled for that. And we're excited to share that, and it is coming very soon.
Yes.
But I think that wraps it up for this show. Again, thank you guys for your patience at the beginning of the things as we worked out some technical difficulties. But that is it for tonight. Until next time, Adultitis Fighters.
Shine on, spread whimsy, and be awesome.